Hello and welcome to the classic Hollywood movie you should know. I'm Nate Washburn. This week the movie is from 1940, The Philadelphia Story, starring Katherine Hepburn, Cary Grant, and James Stewart. Katherine Hepburn plays Tracy Lord. Cary Grant is her ex-husband, C.K. Dexter Haven. Tracy is now engaged to marry George Kittredge. However, there's still a spark between her and Dexter. So Dexter invites newspaper reporters to this weekend-long celebration and wedding, sort of as a way to embarrass Tracy. But what it does, she plays his game, sparks fly, Tracy and Dexter realize they should still be together, the whole party kind of blows up. It's a comedy of remarriage. It's spouses who were together, who fight, the marriage disintegrates, and yet they realize they can't live without each other. Now what makes this movie particularly interesting is it really solidified Katherine Hepburn's place in Hollywood. She was a star in the early 30s. She was signed with RKO and had a bunch of hit movies, including Little Women in the early 30s. However, from 1934 to 1938, her movies were not nearly as successful, and she made a bunch of flops, including Bringing Up Baby, which is now viewed as a screwball comedy classic. She got labeled as box office poison, and RKO, her home studio, didn't really know what to do with her. She got frustrated, the studio's frustrated, so she ended her contract, and then she went to Broadway. She did a brand new Philip Berry play called The Philadelphia Story, which became a smash hit. Now, in a very forward-thinking move, her boyfriend at the time, Howard Hughes, the aviator, he bought the film rights to The Philadelphia Story before the play even premiered, and he gave them to Katherine Hepburn. So when the play was a hit, all of the studios wanted to make it. She chose MGM. It was a big hit, critically and commercially. It was the fifth highest grossing movie of the year, and it got nominated for 6 Oscars, and it won 2. It won Best Actor for James Stewart, and it won Best Writing for Donald Ogden Stewart, who adapted the play into the screenplay. And it brought Katherine Hepburn back from the brink, back from being box office poison. She became a top star of the 40s. Now, there is one moment in the beginning of the movie that always catches me off guard. It catches modern audiences off guard because to our eyes, it is a bizarre moment. Right in the beginning, Katherine Hepburn's first entrance, it shows her fighting with Cary Grant. It's the end of their marriage. She breaks a golf club and he ends up pushing her to the ground. And as a modern audience, you're like, oh shit, like that's domestic violence. However, little trivia, Katherine Hepburn asked for that to be in the screenplay. Her image, her publicity photos and all that stuff, she was New England almost royalty. She was blue blood. She would come, sweeping grand entrances into films and stuff like that. So people had thought that she was very la-di-da. She was upper class. She was high society. And many people wanted her to fall on her face. They wanted her to fail utterly and dramatically. And so she asked for this moment in the beginning of the film. Her big entrance is actually her being pushed down, her being knocked off of her pedestal and ending up on the floor. Another little bit of trivia. It was turned into a musical in 1956 called High Society, starring Bing Crosby and Grace Kelly and Frank Sinatra. But do yourself a favor, watch the original, The Philadelphia Story from 1940. It has a 100% fresh rating on Rotten Tomatoes. It is one of AFI's top 100 movies, and it is this week's classic Hollywood movie you should know. I'm Nate Washburn. Keep watching.